significant milestone for you. You've had a bit of a different journey to get here. Talk to us about your experience over the past decade.
Yeah, it's been a decade now. It's I feel like I've fit a lot into my career, but it's gone really quick as well. So yeah, very, very fortunate that Scotty, the Geelong Footy Club, Wellesley, Barmy at the time, gave me that opportunity to learn and play footy with this club. And yeah, I've sort of just tried to learn as much as I can from everyone around. And yeah, it's been a very fun journey and something I'll look back on very fondly, I think.
Did you know you were getting close to the milestone, or you keep tabs on those kinds of things?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Last year, Cam Guthrie and I were on track to play it together, which would have been pretty special growing up together. Wasn't to be, and so yeah, you sort of keep track on a little bit, but yeah, it's a nice occasion, one that we want to go over there and just get the win.
Yeah. What do you think has been the biggest challenge of that period of time?
In my career?
In your playing career, yeah.
Biggest challenge for me?
Yeah.
Well, initially it was just getting used to contact sport. When I first got to the club, I remember Maxie Rook telling me, this is the best you'll ever feel in your football career. You'll be sore all the time. And early days, I got a corky in my leg and I think I was out for 3 weeks. So that was sort of the big challenge coming from a non-contact sport. And then from then, I just wanted to try and make sure I'm healthy, I'm available, and when it is my turn to play and step up, I'm there to do it. And so, yeah, I think I've done that quite well over my time.
How do you reflect, Chris, on Mark's 250 or 249?
No, it's a remarkable performance. Again, if you go back to the first meeting we had, Neil Baum, Steve Hocking, Stephen Wells and I, and it was really, the way I remember it, Blitz, off a recommendation from Cam Guthrie and Zach Guthrie's dad, who coached Mark as an under 12 or under 11s last time he played footy, and it was just an offhand comment, the way it was relayed to me, that, you know, the best player in our team back in the under 11s was this guy who's now 198 centimetres and he's trying to run middle distance at the Olympics. If he ever went back to footy, I reckon he'd be okay. And that's one of the hallmarks of the way Stephen Wells has approached his job over the years. You know, the 1 in a million is worth pursuing if it means that one is Mark Blicavs playing his 250th, and it's just been critical to the way we've played. Too many people, I think, in today's game, including me, talk about players being unique. But it's that literal definition really applies to what Mark's become, and that was so hard to foresee when we brought him in, because he couldn't play at all, to be honest. And he's a bit self-deprecating when he talks about contact being the biggest challenge for him. Although I think that's probably reasonable to say, his adjustment to that was just extraordinarily quick. And part of that, I think, is he'd spent, you know, most of his athletic career to that point learning how to endure pain. This was just a different type of pain that he needed to endure. And, you know, the first pre-season he had, it was just, or the first season really, it was just unlikely that he was going to be a short-term benefit to our senior team. And the next year he came in and played round 1 and just never looked back. And he's just a great example for our younger players, all our players really, even our coaches, just his capacity and desire to learn, like to the point of being really annoying early days. Like he just, you know, he's like a 3-year-old, just everything was why. You know, why do we do this? How can I get better? And if ever a young player wanted to learn how to learn, I'd be suggesting that he goes to Blitz.
Back in 2015, you said it might be one of the great footy stories. How do you see it now?
Yeah, all things considered, and we know more than most, but it is difficult to explain, and it might sound a bit harsh, but it's difficult to explain just how far back he was when he came in. This was the this was the throw at the stumps sort of situation. And to be frank, if the rules weren't the way they were with the Category B rookie situation, he never would have ended up on our list. And it has inspired us to take chances on other players that are long shots as well. And I think that alone is a good thing, having that mechanism within the system, because again, without it, we wouldn't have seen Mark Blicavs play AFL footy at all, I suspect, much less 250. So in my mind, all things considered, it's one of the most extraordinary stories of the modern era.
Did you have a period of time where you just wrote it off? You didn't think it would be a success at all? You had some serious doubts?
Oh, I had serious doubts right from the start because he was coming from so far back. But we knew that, so this sounds terrible.
That's fine.
We went in with low expectations. But it was the accelerating improvement that gave us so much hope. And again, it wasn't as if it took 2 or 3 or 4 years, which is what my expectation was. If it was going to work, this is going to take 4 years. It was 1 season, and then after that, he was away, and basically never out of the team after that.
Was there a moment, Mark, where you felt it clicked for you? Everything clicked into place?
No, it probably still hasn't. No, I keep trying to improve and learn and work on my kicking and everything else in between. As Scotty mentioned, I feel like my acceleration was quite fast-tracked, and that was probably due to the club and the players around. And I know Mac's in the background here, but Mac and Harry Taylor and Maxi Rook early, I really grew to them, gravitated to them, and just continued to ask questions, as Scotty mentioned, pretty annoyingly, but I thought I just wanted to understand everything because I didn't understand anything when I first got to the club. So I've sort of tried to keep that attitude and continue improvement even up to this weekend's game. I feel more comfortable, obviously, on an AFL field than I did early on. And that's as you play more games, as you get more experience. But there wasn't probably a decisive moment that I felt it click.
On the footy itself, how do you see this year, Scotty, in terms of being 3-0 when last year it was a different story? Does it feel any different this year compared to last?
It does, but every year feels different to me. You know, if you spend time reflecting on what's different from this year to last year, you can always come up with reasons why, but it rarely helps that much, in my opinion. We're just trying to look at where we sit now, and all the start of the year has given us as a chance. It's hard to win anything in April, but you can put yourself way behind the 8 ball, which brings some pressure with the negative momentum that can be hard to turn around. So look, it's positive for us, but it's just not a guarantee that we're not sitting here saying we've won 3 in a row, so we're a really good team. We're trying to work out where we sit within the competition, and the best way that we can get an answer to that is, like Mark has modelled, just try to improve all the time, try to get better. We think we've got really good capacity within our playing list, and we haven't reached it. We expect to improve as the year goes on, which is good because we'll need to compete against the best teams, whoever they end up being.
Is it too simplistic of you to say, well, it feels to me, I mean, I'm not an expert, but it feels like the baton is being passed to the younger players. Is that a simplistic view, do you think, of where Geelong's at the moment? It seems like there are a lot of young players stepping up.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it simplistic, because I hope it's true. The part where I think there is a bit more nuance is, I would like to think of it kind of being the overnight success that took 5 years. And we, in a perfect world, would have Cam Guthrie in our midfield and Paddy Dangerfield in our midfield. Once they're fit, they're coming straight back into those roles. But when they do, it's going to be a difficult decision as to who makes way for them. And as you know, we're not thinking, right, our best team is those 2 in and these 2 guys out. It will continually change throughout the year, and we're trying to build some depth in that area. And we're trying to get to the point where when we win games, that it's not necessarily because our oldest players were the difference. There's a lot when we win, I suspect a lot of times it will be because of those guys. But yeah, we just want a balanced team where if one guy doesn't get you, the next one does.
Just on the Adelaide Oval, the pitch invader's got a lifetime ban. I only asked because you were involved in that game. Are you comfortable with that? I think it's reviewable in 5 years, but as a sanction, pretty unprecedented for pitch invaders.
Do you want to have an opinion?
I've got no really opinion on it.
No, I'm not really across it that well as well. So it's
Just
a lifetime ban with 5 year parole. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of an advocate. I'll give you something. I'll try to give you something. I'm a bit of an advocate of what you're trying to do is make sure that guy never does it again. And maybe if you need to send a message to his mates that they shouldn't do it either, then that's the price we all have to pay.
And Simon Lloyd leaving the club after a very lengthy stint. He's done a lot at the footy club. Just a few words on him, given his departure.
Yeah, as a player, yeah, he's been awesome. So obviously, a lot of my career dealt with him and worked with him very closely, and the work he did to lead us to that 2022 flag is he's leaving a really good legacy. So yeah, very loved, will be missed, but wish him all the best. He's a great man, Lloydie.
Yeah, and from my point of view, he's just one of the great people you meet in footy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time and was just instrumental, not only in our success, but guiding us through a period where we were in pretty significant transition, not just within our playing list, but through our administration as well. We lost some experience when Neil Baum left and when Steve Hocking went to the AFL, and he just did a remarkable job. He's got a great footy CV now. He'll be a loss to the Cats, but in a way, the world is his oyster. There's not many people that can that have the CV that he has. So again, a bit of a loss for us in terms of our footy club. Now he'd moved out of the footy department into the commercial. It was kind of like if there was one tiny little hole in an otherwise perfect CV, it was that. Now he has that. I imagine he's going to go on to some really special things within the system.
So this weekend, pretty quick turnaround. What do you make of the Dogs, and how's the prep been this week for that game?
Our prep's been really good. I've said it a few times already, so at the risk of repeating myself, we feel like we've got a pretty good way of dealing with these shorter breaks based off the experience through the compressed season and COVID. And, if anything, we're more concerned about our longer breaks than our shorter breaks. So we put a lot of thought into these things, and we feel like we'll be ready. But the Bulldogs, you just look at their team and you can't help but have respect for their high-end players, and they're a pretty well-balanced team with a lot of threats. So I feel like I say it a little bit every week because most teams are a bit the same when they get the game going their way, but that's our challenge. They're a good team, and we'll have to play very well to beat them. But in terms of the prep, no, we're ready to play well.
Toby made his debut against the Dogs. How did you rate his game on Monday?
We really liked his game. Yeah, it's. I'm going to bore you with the same answers over and over again when it comes to Toby, because the short term is important for us, and we think he can help us every single week. But we're going to prioritise the long term if it comes to a decision between the two, and often they'll be complementary. What will help him short term is also best for him long term. So I'd like to be able to tell you exactly where we stand with that one for this week. But I think the more important comment is that he's going to play significant footy for us this year, but not at the expense of making sure we get him right for the player he can be in his middle-aged footy years.
Mark, can I just ask quickly, is there one story in your time so far at Geelong in your career that sums up Geelong to you, the footy club?
One story.
Something that jumps out to you, one moment that you feel defines it for you?
No, that's all right. No, I can get back to you on that one. No, I don't really know. I've sort of just my whole career taken everything as it comes and try not to look back too much. I'm sure something post-career I'll reflect on, but as a whole, I've just found playing footy for this football club has been fun, so enjoyable. I've got some of my best mates for life from this club. And so that's something I'm just very appreciative of. Obviously, winning the 2022 flag, it's something we set ourselves up for, and that's why everyone plays football. You want to win the last game of the season and be on top. And now that I've done that personally, I want to do it again, and that's what drives me and pushes me and motivates me. So, there's not sort of one, I suppose, defining moment for me that sums up the whole experience of Geelong Footy Club, but I'm just trying to embrace and enjoy as much as I can over the time.